Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Russell here, and just last night, Binance, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, just put out a press release saying that they no longer be providing support for Canadians who live in Ontario. Now, this might be a precursor to this happening with other exchanges in other provinces. So in today's video, we're going to go over what the heck happened, why Binance might have made this decision, and how it could spread to other cryptocurrency platforms, as well as how you can protect your cryptocurrency from any of these regulatory changes, along with one tip that could save you thousands if you were affected by this. But before we do, make sure to check out the links in the description where you can open up your own account on a Canadian cryptocurrency exchange, as well as a link to the Ledger Nano X here, which is a big part of how I keep my cryptocurrency portfolio secure, but more on that in a minute. First, let's start by taking a closer look at the actual press release put out by Binance, and then we'll go over some important dates that you're going to need to know. First off, they say, as part of our continuing compliance efforts, Binance has updated its terms of use to provide that Ontario, in Canada, has become a restricted jurisdiction effective 2021, June 26. So that's today when I'm putting this out at 3:59 a.m. UTC. Regrettably, Binance can no longer continue to serve Ontario-based users. Ontario-based users are advised to take immediate measures to close out all active positions by December 31st, 2021. We're going to get into why they might have done this in a second, but let's go over these first key dates. First of all, today, this is June 26th, that's when it's become a restricted jurisdiction. Now, what I believe this to mean is that they're not going to be accepting any new clients or new customers to use the Binance platform as of today, but it seems like current and consistent users over the past while will be able to continue using the services, but they're advising that you close all active positions by this date, December 31st, 2021. So you might be wondering, why Binance would you do this, restrict access for people in Ontario? And you might be wondering, hey, is this going to spread to other exchanges that you may use? Well, back in late March, IIROC, which stands for the Investment Industry Regulatory Organization of Canada, and the CSA, the Canada Securities Administrators, as well as the Ontario Securities Commission, well, they put out a joint statement warning a bunch of different crypto trading platforms that they needed to be officially regulated by these agencies. This joint statement was put out on March 29th, and we actually covered this right here on the channel on March 31st, all about how these changes could happen. Now, these exchanges had until April 19th to get in contact with the Ontario Securities Commission to begin this compliance process, but we don't, as of right now, know whether Binance failed to get in touch with the Ontario Securities Commission, or if they ran into roadblocks in the regulation process. In that video, which I'll link right here or down in the description, we talked a lot about how much legal paperwork and administrative work would have to be done in order to become officially regulated here in Canada as a cryptocurrency exchange, as well as the hefty amount of fees that many of these regulatory bodies like IIROC charge for being a part of that organization. One of the main takeaways from that video that we talked about way back at the end of March was that for some of these larger cryptocurrency exchanges, it might not be worth all of the work to become officially regulated, and in addition, worth all the money that they'd have to pay to stay regulated by these regulatory bodies. Now, it could be much like an elephant shooing away a fly. Hey, it's just not worth the energy. I'm just not going to worry about it. And that seems like that could be what's happening here, at least in Ontario, with Binance saying, hey, we're not going to go through the full regulatory process. Instead, we're just going to turn off the switch that allows Ontario residents to use the platform. On that previous video, some people said, hey Russell, don't worry about it. We can just install a VPN software that masks where you're accessing the internet from, so then we'll be able to access Binance again, right? Well, I don't think that's the reality, because for many of these cryptocurrency exchanges, they have to adhere to KYC, or Know Your Customer laws, or here in Canada, that's called FINTRAC, essentially meaning that these brokerages need to ask you for all this information and verify where you live, among a bunch of different other information about you. So getting a VPN likely won't solve your problem this time. Sorry, Nord, I guess you're not going to want to sponsor this video. But remember, we're going to get into exactly what you should do if you're someone who's currently using Binance and how to best protect your assets here in Canada. But first, I wanted to show you a potential reason that Binance may have been more heavily targeted by the Ontario Securities Commission than some other brokerages. You might remember that I said that IIROC and the CSA and the Ontario Securities Commission, while they gave this deadline of April 19th for these cryptocurrency exchanges to get in touch touch with them to start the regulatory process. And it seems that for those who didn't get in touch with them, well, the Ontario Securities Commission has been sending out some messages to them and putting out warnings about specific brokerages. And you can see they did this specifically about a brokerage last week called Bybit. Now, they did release a statement on this. They haven't released a statement on Binance, but we can learn something from what this statement is about Bybit. They say that on March 29th, 2021, the OSC warned crypto asset trading platforms that offer trading in derivatives, remember that, or securities in Ontario, that they must contact OSC staff or face potential regulatory action. Platforms were given until the deadline we talked about to discuss how to bring their operations as a dealer or marketplace into compliance. Additionally, the OSC stated that platforms that allow access to Ontarios are regarded by the OSC as operating in Ontario for the purpose of securities regulation. So even ones that aren't inside of Ontario, their head offices aren't inside of Ontario, well, the OSC is going to be applying regulations to all exchanges that offer their services to Ontarians. But there's one key word in here that I wanted you to remember, and that is derivatives. It seems that the OSC is not taking too kindly to derivatives trading in cryptocurrency, and this is actually something that Binance, rather uniquely, many other exchanges don't do this. Well, this is something that Binance offers. You can see here in this picture from the app that Binance actually allows for options trading. Now, this is instead of actually buying a cryptocurrency and just holding that cryptocurrency, you can buy options contracts, which give you the right to purchase at a certain price in the future, or a right to sell at a certain price in the future. And this allows you to make more advanced trades and advanced plays based on what you think the price is going to do in any given cryptocurrency. Now, we haven't actually heard anything from Binance or the Ontario Securities Commission on why exactly they chose not to go forward with the regulatory process, but based on the language from that previous release about Bybit that OSC put out, we could sort of gather that it's because they allow derivatives trading. That means options, as well as I believe Binance allows for futures trading. And remember, this is really setting a precedent. What we see happening here could happen on other exchanges in other provinces across the country of Canada. So I want to take a minute here to give you some recommendations on what I think you should do if you're someone who's affected by this Binance situation, or if you're somebody who's worried that your exchange may not be supported in the future. To start, in general, I don't recommend that many people use a hot wallet or a software wallet to hold a large portion of your crypto portfolio. Now, if you're coming from Binance, there's a good chance that you may have been using the Binance Chain Wallet, and this is a hot software wallet. Now, instead of using a hot wallet, I really recommend getting a hardware wallet set up, and that's what I have right here in my Ledger Nano X. In general, it's best to buy your cryptocurrency on an exchange and then transfer it over to a hard wallet like this. Now, there are other options like Trezor, but I haven't personally used that, but I'll leave a link down there in the description where you can pick up a Ledger Nano X, as well as a video where I open it and unbox it and give you a little bit of a review on how it works. Now, it took me a while to realize just how important this is, but the Ledger Nano X gives you custody over your private keys, full custody, so you are the one who is responsible for your funds and it's not at the whims of a third party. Now, second, and this is a big one, if you're coming from Binance or a different platform, I want to emphasize, and this could save you thousands of dollars, do not sell your cryptocurrency and convert it back into dollars in order to make this transfer to a different exchange or, as I recommended, a different wallet. Instead, make sure you send your cryptocurrency directly from one wallet to the one you're transferring to instead of liquidating it and transferring it back to dollars. Now, this could save you thousands of dollars because as soon as you sell your cryptocurrency and convert it back to Canadian dollars, let's just say, well, that triggers a tax event at which time you would have to pay capital gains tax on the growth of your entire portfolio, and depending on how much and when you invested, that could be rather large. Next, I'd recommend using a cryptocurrency exchange that is based right here in Canada, or even more detailed in Ontario, because when a cryptocurrency exchange has its head office and all of its operations inside of Canada, well, they're far more likely to adhere to the new regulatory frameworks that are released by these regulatory bodies. This essentially means less of a chance of your services being interrupted by some sort of change like this as it's happening in Binance right now. Now, some of my favorites here in Canada are Newton and Virgo CX. In general, I've found Newton to be the lowest fee, and Virgo CX has a lot of really good data and lots of good options for people who are trading in high volumes. I've made videos on both of these exchanges before going over more of these details, so if you want to do more research, there's links down there in the description, along with links where you can get $25 when you trade your first $100 in cryptocurrency. But what I'm really curious about is what you think about all of this. Now, in general, I tend to like more and more competition in any marketplace because that just gives more incentive for these companies to provide better services for the people who are using them. So seeing Binance leave Ontario, I think it's generally a negative thing, although I would recommend that people who are used to working on Binance maybe think about some more decentralized options for their cryptocurrency portfolios. No matter what you think about it, let me know down there in the comment section. Do you think Ontario made a huge mistake here, or are they truly just looking out for the best interests of their citizens? Let me know down there. And of course, if you haven't already done so, hit that red subscribe button and turn it gray. That would be a huge help to this channel in supporting Canadian content just like this on the YouTube platform. And with all that said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this video has helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.